If we go into the recognition of what discrimination and judgments are, this would be most beneficial for us to seek the accordance with what rather than how first. What is judgment? Judgment is when we look at another person or another thing and we say, that is not something I agree with. I do not feel like that needs to be. I would like to see this in a different way. It is something that I do not agree with. This can be beneficial, for if we look at something that we do not agree with, we can say that does not represent me. I would choose to be something else. I would choose to eat in a different way. For instance, if we look at something and we say, that is not healthy, I would rather eat this healthy thing. This is beneficial. Judgment can be a beneficial thing. However, when we look at something and we judge it in a way that says, I reject you, this is not healthy. This is actually detrimental to both sides. However, the person may not understand this. However, when we reject something, we are saying that is not something I agree with, and I would like to change you, and I would like to control you. This creates division within our society. It creates fear. It creates a rejection of all sides. For when that person is judged and rejected, the person usually rejects themselves. This leads to a disintegration of that person's identity, meaning that person begins to feel like they are not worthy. This person begins to feel like they do not have love, and therefore they have difficulty within themselves loving who they are because they feel like they do not belong. So, what needs to happen is for that person to begin to heal, that person who has been judged to begin to understand that they are worthy, that they are recognized, because they will need to recognize that within themselves. They will need to love themselves and to not reject themselves. Now, this can be a very difficult thing because they did not receive that externally. And if they did not receive it externally, it's very, very important for them to give it to themselves internally. However, this is very difficult. And this is a journey, a process, if you will, because society needs to heal. And we cannot heal unless we heal ourselves. Most people will judge other people because they're really judging themselves. This is something that many people do not understand, but people will judge other people because they need those people to agree with them, because really they doubt themselves. They do not love themselves. So they must judge other people because then they don't have to heal themselves. But getting back to this whole process of loving yourself and what it is needed to heal is that healing involves looking at yourself and saying, I love myself anyways. Because these are things that you cannot change. For if you reject yourself after you've been rejected, you're nothing more than those people. You are doing the same thing to yourself. You are rejected, and I am rejecting myself again. And continuing this process, this cycle of rejection. Rejection is the opposite of love. Rejection is saying that I am wrong, I am bad, there is something bad about me. I must fear myself. I must fear who I am, but I can't really change myself. At the same time, I can't really change myself. You can try. People do it all the time. They will pretend. They will pretend by doing something and saying that they agree with something that they really don't feel. But that is nothing more than rejecting yourself even further. It does not lead to happiness. It leads to sadness. Happiness and health is going to involve actually recognizing the truth and becoming more of that, becoming more of your true self. Now, in this, you may say, but I'm going to be unhappy if I do that. If I really understand who I am and align with that and believe that, I'm still going to be separated because these people are still going to judge me. And I need love. I need love externally. I need those people to love me. So I must pretend. Okay. Well, when you do that, how do you feel? When you pretend, how do you feel? You still feel rejected. These people may not reject you externally because you are representing what they agree with, what they say love is. I cannot love you until you are this thing, so you pretend to be that thing. If you pretend to be that thing, you're not being true to yourself. You still feel rejected. You still feel bad, right? How do you love yourself? You become more of who you are. Now, the thing of it is, this is ironic, but once you begin to heal and say, this is who I am, and I believe that I am worthy, regardless of these things, I believe that I am, and I can love myself with that. This is the ironic thing. People will begin to heal as well. Now, I want to express that we are a unit. The world is a unit. The population, the people are a unit. Source, consciousness, oneness. Now, once we heal, others will heal as well. When we love ourselves, other people will love. Now, what this means is that loving yourself is healing the planet. Loving yourself is actually loving others. Other people will begin to heal and express some more love. I know this may seem complicated, but we are like a body. The planet is we are parts of the planet. Each person is a part, like a cell in the body. We work together. Rejection is like an illness. Rejection is like an illness, and the only way to heal it is within ourselves. Once we heal it, others will heal and solve this illness. It's the cure. So, if you wish to heal this, you must understand that you must see that you are beautiful. You must see the beauty within yourselves. All of us must. We must see that we are all beautiful and we all have a part in this whole process here. We are a big unit that works together, and we must heal this illness of rejection. And so this involves looking at yourself and seeing how it is. To say, I am this. If I choose not to be this, I am not myself. This is the uniqueness that we talked about before. Uniqueness in your identity, your preferences. If you choose to be something that you're not, that is not admiring your uniqueness. That is how we know the difference between an ego and a uniqueness. The ego will tell us to do things that are unhealthy, such as, I must, and I can't, and I won't. Okay, so the ego is wanting to be certain things for approval. It is setting laws and rules and expectations for ourselves, saying things like, I cannot make mistakes, I must do this, it is against my rules to do other things. The ego likes to create stories, a lot of times about rejection. It is setting rules for ourselves, creating stories for ourselves. A lot of fear goes into the ego and the stories that we have about ourselves and about the world. And if we go back to this discrimination, judgment, rejection, these people who are judging, they are very ego-based. They are identifying with their ego because they feel threatened if somebody agrees with something that they don't agree with. Okay? They do not love themselves because they need external sources to be a certain way for them to be them. See? They cannot be themselves. They feel threatened if somebody else does not agree with them. It's true love when you can be yourself and everything else, you allow it. Well, you can be that way and I can be this way and we can be. That's true love. Now, getting back to this whole, how do you love yourself? You understand your uniqueness. Your uniqueness is not the ego. Your uniqueness is more of a feeling. It's a knowing. If I choose this, I'm going to feel like myself. If I choose this, I'm going to not feel like myself. I'm going to feel like I'm rejecting part of myself. So your uniqueness will be that part of I am choosing me. I am not rejecting myself. I am knowing myself. And when we do that, when we choose that, we are healing ourselves. We are loving ourselves when we are our truth of who we are. Mastering that. Saying to ourselves, I am good, I am beautiful because I am being myself. Not to please other people, not to gain anything. Gain anything as in reputation or meeting somebody else's agenda. I am just simply being myself. Not to gain approval, not to gain worship, or even fame, money. Money's not bad, but when we're doing it just for money, I'm going to choose not to be myself for money. That is not healthy. Now, when we choose to be ourselves, we can gain money, okay? But that is not the goal. The ego wants material things. Money, power, reputation, fame, approval. It wants. Now, love, on the other hand, is not about any sort of gain. It simply just wants to be, to know, to express itself. to see itself. Love is the soul. Love is understanding the soul. First, you must love yourself by saying to yourself, I understand myself. You must first understand who you are. Sometimes we reject ourselves. We ask ourselves, why am I so unhappy? Why do I feel so down? Most of the time it's because we don't even know what we want. We don't know who we are. What is ourself? But when we go into ourself and we ask ourselves, who is it here? Why do I feel so bad? What would make me happy? We find ourselves. Joy. What do I really want? When I take people away, when people go away and their rules, their expectation, whatever they're saying, and telling me that I should do, when I put that aside, if I were going to create my own world, what would I want? If I had freedom, and if I imagine liking myself and feeling joy and expressing that, how would I want things to go? That is a very good guide to understand yourself. Once you understand yourself, then the next step is to actually see yourself. To see yourself understanding. To say, I understand who I am. And once you understand who you are, the next step is to actually choose that by seeing yourself in what you do and what you say, your choices. So let's say you go within yourself and you say, I feel a certain way. I feel giddy. I like to feel giddy and playful. And so if you feel that and you really know that that is what brings you joy, maybe when you go to the store, you're going to choose certain clothing, or you're going to choose maybe a game to spend your time, because that gives you that expression as in that freedom of feeling that. It's all about the feelings. Another way of thinking about this is I look within myself and I find that I really feel a certain way when I read. I really feel joyful when I read poetry. So when you go to the store, you're going to buy a poetry book. Or maybe you're going to write poetry. It's all about expression, understanding who you are, what you feel, what your preferences are, what makes you feel a certain way, guiding yourself towards joy. There was some people that talk about the channelers remembering in her mind. Some people said, if it doesn't bring you joy, why are you doing it? This is exactly what we are talking about. If you present yourself, who are you presenting yourself as? An idea that somebody holds, somebody says that you should be, or are you being true to yourself? Walk like you would walk. Talk like you would talk. Spend your time like you would spend your time. Healing involves being authentic. Loving yourself matters. This is why we are here. Loving yourself matters greatly. If you heal, all the energy around you heals. Yet again, we are a unit. And the world is diseased with this idea of should and shouldn't, bad and wrong, good and bad. We reject things that we fear. We reject things that we fear, and we see that as a threat that will tell us that we are wrong. And maybe they are wrong. They do not want to give up their ideas because they have identified themselves with certain ideas and beliefs. These people who judge. They've identified, this is my belief, these are the ideas, and you're going against them. And for me to hold on to these ideas, these beliefs, I must have you do these certain things. Because if I allow you to do those certain things, I must give this up. They're afraid of change. This is the way it is. People are afraid of change and to look at what is really authentic within themselves. Rejection is not love. These people are not loving. And one way to do this is to actually love yourself. Because once you love yourself, you are part of the solution. We cannot reject ourselves in response to rejection. It is very understandable that you have rejected yourself, but it is time for us to wake up. It is time for us to heal, to love ourselves. Because if we don't, we are just going to continue the process, continue this cycle. We need to heal, find time to heal. It is important. Love is very, very important, because if we do not, we will find ourselves in perpetual illness and suffering, because these people who judge themselves, which they are really judging themselves, because we are all one. We are ill. Even people who judge are not happy. They say, I must be happy, but they go around finding things to be unhappy with, right? These things must be this way for me to be happy. Let me go around and point at the people who are not making me happy. That's not happiness. True happiness is when we love ourselves, have fun with ourselves, see ourselves, be with the people that make us happy, do the things that make us happy. It's not going around and pointing internally or externally at things that do not make us happy. It's not about that. It's about the freedom and the joy of expressing who and what we are, the things that make us happy. That is love. And if we see something externally that doesn't make us happy, that is something we can love too. Even internally, we can see something that doesn't make us happy and say that is. We practice non-judgment, just noticing, just being within who and what we are with that thing that doesn't make us happy. For instance, I am not happy when I am cold. I go outside and it is cold. I will see that coldness And I will practice noticing without fighting against it, without needing to change it. It just is. This is love. I see someone who is judging. This brings me sadness. I do not agree with judgment. But I will not judge the person who is judging. I will just notice, see it, and be within myself. I hate a certain type of music. I go somewhere, they are playing that music. Instead of causing chaos and screaming for it to be shifted and changed, and for a new type of music to be played, I will practice breathing and just noticing that yes, I would have chosen a different kind of music, but this music can be allowed to be played. We cannot be part of the problem. We cannot judge and discriminate ourselves, right? Love is the opposite of rejection. Love yourself as we love you. For even though we would choose different things than your planet, we love all that you do and see the beauty within you and the potential within you. And this guidance has much love within it, and we hold a high, high, high vibration for you in this, holding space for your freedom, your joy, your expression, and your unique self. Healing you now, we bid you adieu. Namaste.